Lovely.
Well, good morning, Virginia. And it's taken a little while this morning, hasn't it?
It has
Yeah,
a few
it's,
ups and downs, but we got there.
it's modern technology, isn't it?
It is.
And I just want to say welcome to everyone else to another episode of Extraordinary Ordinary Women. I'm excited to be able to share with you stories of ordinary women in our community, possibly the woman who is living next door to you, who have had a dream or an idea and have followed it through to fruition. Their stories will encourage you, uplift you, and hopefully inspire you to ignite the seeds of greatness within your heart. For it's through sharing that we come to realize that we're not Robinson Crusoe, all alone on an island, that there is, particularly now with social media, this network of truly amazing women who are so eager and ready to stretch out their hand with encouragement. Having found this for myself when my life was turned upside down, it's my gift to those women to be able to pay forward the gift of encouragement to others. So, without further ado, I have great pleasure this morning in introducing you to Virginia Dight. Virginia, I met you last year in rather very interesting circumstances. We were in the same room at John Hunter Hospital with just the curtain between our beds. And a representative, I believe, from the hospital came around and spoke to you about beds. And it was, with just a curtain between us, there wasn't much privacy with the conversation. And when the word veterans was mentioned several times, my curiosity was piqued. And after the fellow went, I went over and introduced myself to you and discovered that actually we had much in common. So, on that note, good morning and welcome.
Thank you. And good morning to you and to everyone else.
Virginia, the topic really then delved into your designing of showers for the elderly. Can you elaborate on what took you along that pathway?
I was a community registered nurse, and my biggest frustration was all of the elderly people that I looked after always had a problem getting into their showers because of the old-fashioned high shower hobs. And one day I was showering an elderly gentleman. I arrived at his place. He was a war veteran, World War II, fought in New Guinea, had the most terrible arthritis, and was in constant pain. And I had to call my opposite number, who worked not too far away from me. And he said, when I got there, he said, Virginia, I cannot have a shower today. I can't get in. So, having said that, my other opposite number arrived, and we wheeled George into the garage, concrete floor, and we carried buckets of warm water into the garage and showered him that way. And that night I got home and I was so frustrated and my mind was buzzing. And I said, there has to be a way around this. There's got to be a way. And I literally at 1 o'clock that morning, I sat upright and I had the idea and I
That's when they happen. Sorry to interject, but that's when they happen, don't they? In the middle of the night when you're in
I
bed.
do.
Okay, go.
I made a quick sketch of my thoughts, and during the day I started to draw, redesign it, and put down on paper exactly what I'd dreamt. And I worked on that. And from there on, I developed a fully self contained portable shower that can be used in any room, anyone's home, inside or outside, because I've designed the hoses that extend, a shower rose. It can be used outside with a solar water bag, a water
Oh,
bag. if no one, yeah, so that solves the problem of using a hot water tap outside.
That's pretty darn impressive. Sorry, that's really impressive. You know, to be so portable. Yes.
That the shower collapses when it's finished. There's a holding tank underneath. The water is let out of the tank by gravity feed, so it waters the back lawns or wherever. And then all the nurse has to do is wipe the shower with disinfectant, dry it, fold it up, put it in a nylon carrier bag and put it in the boot of her car and go on to the next patient.
Wow, that's really, really incredible and impressive. So from woe to go, Virginia, how long did that process take?
Oh, it took a good 3 years because I had to keep on fiddling with the design to get it the way I wanted. And then I'm now about to modify the design for those people in palliative care who can't be moved from their beds to have a shower. So I'm now going to redesign this to make it possible for people who are in palliative care to have a bath in their bed, but a proper bath.
Wow.
And that's going to take a while. And people are interested. And I have someone over in, I think it's in the UK now,
right,
whose name is the Outback Shower. He said to me, Virginia, in Australia, everything is done in the Outback. So it's called the Outback Shower.
Right.
And this is where I'm at the moment, just redesigning. But it can be used for people who want to go camping and don't like to use the public facilities. It can be used by people in their homes who can't afford to renovate a bathroom.
Yes.
And they want a shower. So
because that's a very expensive project, isn't it, to renovate your bathroom? Yes.
And I'm going to make this hopefully not expensive and rebatable under Medicare for those veterans and people who are on the age pension.
So all your knowledge as a community nurse is flowing into this with, you know, your clients' needs and your creative imagination and your desire to find a solution to these problems.
That's right. And the frustrations were endless.
Well, that leads me into my next question. Whatever passion we choose to pursue, there are challenges. Are you able to list a few of those, you know, to talk about a few of those challenges that cropped up along your way?
Yes. The first and most frustrating thing was I'd arrive at a patient's house and they'd say, Virginia, I'm not having a shower today. And I'd ask them why. Because it's too cold or it's this or the main answer was I can't step into the shower. I'm too sore to get into the shower. And they would just jack up and say no. And the next day would be the same. And the day after, they were just too sore. So I'd end up giving them a sponge bath, which wasn't ideal. That was difficult. And then there were a lot of challenges, but that was the most difficult of all, is getting someone into the shower.
Yes.
Because I didn't have the strength to lift someone in on my own. And the next challenge was the bathrooms were cold and they didn't want to go into a cold bathroom. And so that was another problem. So this shower will enable people to have a shower in a warmed room, have the heating on and be warm.
So there's no spillage elsewhere. It's just all self-contained. What a fabulous idea, because two things cropped to mind in that little talk there. Was it's not until your own health deteriorates, and, you know, with my cancer journey, I have experienced that big time, and you suddenly appreciate what you can do and acknowledge what you can't do. So when you say, you know, your clients weren't able to step into the shower, suddenly that's a reality, because there were so many normal everyday things that during my cancer journey I just had to say goodbye to, because I just could not do them. And you just take your health, your ability to do things so much for granted, don't you? It's just incredible.
That's right.
Yeah, and to be able to shower in a warm environment, I can also appreciate, because in my house, I have the bathroom wide open during the wintertime so that the heat from my wood heater dissipates throughout the whole of the house, so that when I step into my shower, it is the same as everywhere else. So I can fully understand that. You know, older people who aren't that energetic, who are either on their beds, on their wheelchairs, not wanting to get undressed and go into a cold room. Amazing.
That's right.
Yes, amazing, you know, that you've been able to think all of these things through. And, you know, there's a problem and there's a solution that you've been able to provide. So having traversed this path, obviously over many years, with the realization that there's a problem, the finding of a solution, the building of the solution and marketing and providing, what have been the rewards? And there must be some rewards there for you to now see another problem to work through and solve.
Well, yes. Firstly, I must say that when I've completed this and it's been finally built to specifications, I am going to hopefully donate to the poor countries in Africa and other countries where there is no clean water, no showers, no hygienic amenities for these people to use. So I belong to a company called On Passive, and there is a section in that called Oh Bless, and it's through Oh Bless that I want to donate showers to the poor communities in the world, for these people to be able to access personal hygiene.
Which is a big thing, yes.
Yeah. And the best thing was, this shower allowed a young man to take his disabled brother on his first ever camping trip, because it had a solar hot water bag, and he was able to shower his brother outside and in privacy. And so that was just
oh wow, just listening to that story, that is worth its weight in gold, isn't it?
It was magic, just beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was, sorry.
Now, when I think about the possibilities of the disabled people being able to enjoy life because of a shower, they can go places, they can have their privacy, and they can be having a great time with their families.
Yes. And you know, your donation of the money, the resources to Africa, that was another thread that was in common with us, because part of my journey is the donation also to a charitable fund. Wow, that is, Virginia, it was so lovely to connect again with you this morning. And thank you so much for sharing your story here today. And I will get some details, so because my knowledge of technology is still being developed. And I will be able to put a link in it for those people who are interested in your shower to be able to contact you. when I get this up and loaded and running. So thank you very much for your time and your story today. And I look forward to sharing another episode of Extraordinary Ordinary Women with you folk. God bless. Bye.
Bye-bye.